know.
It is 6 o'clock. Call the meeting to order. All board members except Leo are present. Let's stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of agenda.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Consent agenda.
Move to approve consent agenda. Second.
Any comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Committee reports. Policy.
We didn't have a meeting, but we had one policy that had to go out to the principals, and we had changes made to match MSBA, and then the principals did some discipline changes that are now going to be in the handbooks instead of the policy.
All right. I don't think any other committees have met since our last meeting. We'll move on to the superintendent report.
Yeah, just the main thing, and just, I mentioned at the last meeting, we're just moving ahead, changing the security entrance for our preschool and RAP program. Craig Most has met with our architect, Eric Lanier, and also working with Metcon, and we had the city inspector in today to take a look at things, so we're moving ahead with that. We're, trying to get that going as fast as we can. I don't know if we probably won't be able to get it by the time school starts, but hopefully shortly thereafter. But I'll keep you up to date on that. So it's a high priority because it's been a concern throughout the year ever since we added the fitness portion to the aquatic center portion. So just for security sake, we think it's very much a high priority.
All right. Action items. Approval of curricular resources.
All right, we've got Maren Beller, our Director of Curriculum and Assessment, and she's going to go over this part of the agenda, curriculum.
So I have a few novels that I'm asking for your approval tonight. One set of novels, we have 6 novels that you received in your board packet, and this is on behalf of U.S. Literature A, which is for a required course for all 11th graders. And so we have 2 texts that we are purchasing through our Indian Ed Parent Committee dollars that we receive. So these 2 texts, we have New Poets of Native Nations and Looks Like Daylight. So these will be embedded into the U.S. Lit A course, along with 4 additional titles that the U.S. Lit team provided you with descriptions on in terms of a rationale as well. And so I just want to quickly highlight each of these 4 for you, and then if there's any questions, please let me know. The first text is Legend, and this is important in terms of talking about rebellion, and so they're going to tie in some historical components with this. And one point of a potential issue with this book is simply the violence that is included in the book. And so just wanting to share, there's a character that is shot in the text. But again, the teachers would be leading discussions on this, and all students, there would be a choice with these novels as well. So they would be picking one of the books, so they're not required to read all of them. So I think that's important to note as you're listening to these as well. The next text for approval is called All American Boys, and this text is around the issues of law enforcement of people of color in the United States, and this also ties into their rebellion unit and what the costs of that may be. Some of the potential issues with this text may be just simply the matter of the book with the context in terms of police brutality in regards to race, language, discussion of drugs and alcohol, and some sexual innuendo in this text. Another text is called Ready Player One, and this book focuses on different cultural aspects that teens can relate to, particularly currently with technology and friendships. And so they'll be able to tie in regarding conflict and in how it relates to class. And so potential issues with this book would be language and including real and video game violence. And the team also talked how this text particularly may reach to a certain type of student who may not be drawn to other types of novels, because how this really ties in with video games. We're looking to reach another type of learner with this, and so that was partly why this text was chosen. And then Fahrenheit 451 is the last text. This also has the theme with rebellion, and there's ideas in this book that prevents the main character from accessing knowledge and truth. And the potential issue with this book would be violence and also some language. And so, as I mentioned, those books would be embedded into our first semester US Lit A course. The team is still working on some novels to add and enhance to the US Lit B course that I will be presenting to you at a later date. And so, another component that really drove this shift was, as the team is continuing to look at research and best practice, when students choose books, there's simply a higher level of engagement. So by allowing some sense of choice with the students, the teachers have spent a lot of time looking for texts that would be appropriate and would also be engaging. And so they really feel that these are the best texts that they can teach with at this time. So I'm asking for your approval of those 6 texts, along with Sunny's Story, and this is for our 4th grade health curriculum, 8th grade health curriculum, and high school wellness health curriculum. It's the same text, but it would be used at those 3 levels. And Sunny's Story is a curriculum that Scott County actually purchased for us, and they purchased this through their Choose Not to Use the Crime and Drug Prevention Program. And so all students in grades 4, 8, and high school wellness will have access to this curriculum, and our teachers have the instructional materials that they need to maneuver through the program. And this text focuses on drug addiction, and the main character in this story passed away from drug addiction, and his mom created this curriculum to hopefully help prevent that happening to another family. So these are the texts that I'm asking for your approval tonight. Are there questions or comments?
I like that there's choices for the kids to have in high school. I know that makes it a lot more work for the teachers to be able to address all of the different books, but I like that they have the choice. And I like this Sunny's book as it's you can see how it would hit all those different levels and different levels of understanding, and that's a good book too. Other questions? I get a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you. And then the other item I have for approval is our middle school math curriculum. We are in the process of purchasing new curriculum for our 6th, 7th, and 8th grade students from Holton McDougall. And this curriculum was a team decision with all the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade math teachers, including special ed. They were also a part of the process. We looked at 3 different platforms: Big Ideas, Envision, and then the Go Math platform. And so simply asking for your approval for this program. The current curriculum, basically what happened was the current math department is working off of a very old math platform, and the ebook was no longer going to be available this summer. And so it was not a decision that was based on data. Our data was not telling us that we needed to shift. The team was very happy with what they had, but unfortunately in this day and age we have to have that digital text for math. And so we took our teachers through that process, and they met with the reps and looked for a platform that they felt would really best align. And what set the HMH platform apart from the others was there is an actual Minnesota version. And so what you may not know is that Minnesota has its own set of math standards, which makes it really difficult to find core resources when most of the country is aligned to the Common Core and we are not. And so having this specific Minnesota edition will really help our teachers. So they've actually been in this summer working through the new platform as well.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the math curriculum.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Lease with First Bank and Trust.
So as you may be aware, since the integrated learning program started, that has taken place at New Day Church. We've been there, it's that 3 years, I believe, we've had the program. And this year, for next year, we would like to move that program to First Bank and Trust. New Day had a few more issues that they wanted addressed, and Tony approached First Bank and Trust, and they have a conference room, a large conference room that's hardly ever used, as well as empty offices up on their second floor after they were, merged with that other bank. So it'll actually be slightly cheaper than our current lease, and we'll give it a shot for a year, and they were very happy to help us out.
I'll make a motion to approve the lease with the First Bank and Trust.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Jenny has a resolution.
You want to comment on this resolution, Sandy?
Can just comment that this is something we did last year. As you know, that we cannot, the federal program in the food service fund cannot absorb any bad debt, and it needs to be reinstated from the general fund. Last year, we transferred almost $11,500, so this year it's about $3,200 less, which is almost a third less than it was last year, so that's good news, but we still do have some that we need to cover for fiscal year 2018-2019.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to consider the resolution to make a permanent fund transfer from Fund 01 to Fund 02.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Whereas the National School Lunch Program and School Breakfast Program regulations do not allow nonprofit school food service accounts to absorb operating losses due to bad debt, whereas non-funds must be used to restore identified and recorded bad debt. Whereas New Prague Area Schools has identified and recorded $8,329.83 in bad debt in the Nutrition Services Fund 02 as of June 30th, 2019. Now therefore be it resolved by the New Prague Area School Board of Education that New Prague Area Schools will transfer $8,329.83 of its unassigned general fund balance to the Nutrition Services 02 Fund effective June 30th, 2019. How do you vote on this, Tammy?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Kitten?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Kim?
Yes.
Dennis? Yes. Item passes.
I have a question. How do you keep track of this from year to year to know who is involved in this, and are they worked with to try to get the money from them?
Yeah, this has been an ongoing issue, and Kim, the two, Kim's and Food Service do a really good job of trying to follow up with parents and working with them, giving them every benefit of the doubt. We also send letters that notify them that they have these outstanding balances. We notify them, it's either 6 or 7 times by mail, and then if that doesn't work, then we actually turn them over to a collection agency. It's a collection agency that is not real harsh, but it still is a collection agency. And then any funds that we do collect after they've been turned over come back into the general fund, because we have, transferred money from the general fund to cover the bad debt.
This happens after?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
But last year, we did not collect any more money. So,
That's not surprising. Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Memorandum of Understanding between NPAS and the Bridge Speech Services.
I was gonna say,
I was going to say, who's going to talk on that one?
yeah, we have a speech pathologist that's going out on a leave, and we need to find someone to replace her for 2 months, which is difficult. Speech paths are hard to find anyway, but finding someone for 2 months has been difficult. Amy has a lot of connections with speech paths, and none of them could do it. A couple of them were retired, and they were traveling to Europe during that time, and, they're just not available. So she called a person that was a speech path for us a while back, and she is starting her own business, and we will be her first client. And so we are doing a memorandum of agreement with her. The other option was to go to a kind of a temp agency for speech paths, and that would have been a lot more expensive. So, this is really our option to cover this leave of absence, to provide the services that are required by our IEPs.
Can I get a motion to approve the MOU?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. Approval of high school handbook changes.
Good evening. In your board packet, you should have received some proposed changes. Just to clarify, the language that is struck out, that is the language that currently exists. We wanted you to be able to see that. The language that is highlighted in yellow, that is the new proposed language. Some of these are just clarification around existing language, but the two that I wanted to bring your attention to tonight were the proposed language around the graduation ceremony policy. We have quite a few students who do not meet the required number of credits and are able to participate in the graduation ceremony under our existing policy. In short, we have 56 opportunities for students to earn 47 credits over the course of their 4 years at New Prague High School. According to the policy that currently exists, students can walk or participate in the graduation ceremony having attained only 40 of those 47 required credits. And while we do have a very positive graduation rate, we do have a pocket of students who, once that graduation ceremony is over, it's very difficult for them to come back and complete that. So in order to align our actual graduation requirements with the requirements to participate in the graduation ceremony, we're proposing that over the course of the next few years that we start lowering those requirements, or increasing those expectations rather, around credits, so that nothing will change for the class of 2020 because they've been on this path for quite some time. With the class of 2021, they would need to be within 5 credits. The class of 2022 within 3, the class of 2023 within 1, and the class of 2024 and beyond, they will have to have completed all graduation requirements in order to participate. The other significant change that I wanted to bring your attention to was implementation of a senior privileges program. This is very common practice in many large comprehensive high schools, the idea being that seniors are on the threshold of adulthood, and this is an opportunity for them to start to learn how to manage their time, exercise a little bit more freedom, but with the safety net of adults that are continuing to monitor their progress. So we are proposing that seniors, only seniors, who are on track to graduate and are in good academic and behavioral standing are able to have the flexibility to be on or off campus during lunch and study halls. And the requirements is that they've attained a minimum of 40 credits by the end of their first semester senior year. Students must demonstrate responsibility by maintaining a cumulative GPA of 2.0 or higher, sustain positive attendance record, no more than 7 excused or unexcused absences, and positive conduct. They're not able to bring underclassmen off campus at any point for any reason, and these privileges could be revoked if necessary. So those are the two major changes I wanted to bring your attention to. There are some others, but those are largely just language changes to clarify existing policy.
I actually think there might be an extra sentence under the honor roll section. The first yellow bit.
Yes. And we will go back. We still have quite a few other edits to make, so we'll make sure that we go through and reword this. Thank you.
Any questions?
I'll make a motion to approve the handbook.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Thank you.
Elementary school handbook.
Yeah, in elementary, there's very minimal changes,
I
so.
assume they're gonna update the picture
Yeah.
from the one that's in there. The name is updated and the picture isn't.
Yeah, that'll be taken care of.
Anyone have questions on the elementary handbook?
Hmm.
Can I get a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0. And the resolution to lease a vehicle from Chrysler for early childhood, right? Or preschool, one or the other.
Yeah, if you'll recall, we have as part of our budget, adding early childhood transportation. We are going to be leasing a mini school bus, which doesn't require any type of resolution, but the van does require resolution. The financing company is requiring this, just giving Steve and/or Craig the authorization to sign off on the lease. We're leasing it for 4 years, and there will be a cash option to buy it at the end of the 4 years if we so choose. But that we need to lease, we can't buy because you can't use school readiness funds to purchase. You can only use it to lease.
At this time, I'll entertain a motion to consider the resolution to lease a car, or rather a van, from the Chrysler Capital Corporation.
I'll make a motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
If it's been moved and seconded to consider the following resolution. Be resolved that the school board has entered or will enter into one or more commercial lease and/or retail installment sale finance agreements with a licensed motor vehicle dealer, who in turn intends to assign them to Chrysler Capital, whereby the corporation, the school board, will receive credit and/or lease accommodations in connection with the purchase and/or lease of motor vehicles. Be resolved that in accordance with these credit documents, the school board may assume certain credit and/or lease obligations to Chrysler Capital in connection with the credit extensions provided by Chrysler Capital, and that these and other actions taken by the corporation, the school board, in connection with the credit documents do not violate any covenants under the organized agreements or otherwise. Resolved that the officer, manager, director, and/or shareholder of the school board listed below is authorized and empowered to assign on behalf of the school board the credit documents and any and all documents necessary as required by Chrysler Capital in connection with the credit documents, and from time to time perform all such other acts and things deemed by them necessary for the covenant or proper to carry out, modify, or supplement the credit documents or any other such agreements and arrangements with the Chrysler Capital in connection with them. How do you vote on this? Kim?
Yes.
Mark?
Yes.
Kitten?
Yes.
Jean?
Yes.
Tammy?
Yes.
Dennis, yes. Item passes.
Final item is entering into closed session for the purpose of negotiations for contracts.
I'll make a motion to enter into a closed session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.